What's up, folks? It's Matt here with Tanks Lawn Maintenance. It is currently 10:32 p.m. I am sitting in the truck in my driveway, just bored out of my mind. My wife's inside. She's playing PUBG with some of her friends on her iPad, and she likes peace and quiet inside. She didn't run me out of the house or anything like that. I just like to give her space so she can hear and do what she likes to do, and for some reason she gets a better signal downstairs in the living room. And other than the video I put out earlier today, I hadn't got on here and chatted with y'all in a while. I've been wide open. But here the past week or two, man, I've been extremely busy, man. Just been juggling because of the rain. I don't know about y'all and where the rest of you guys are, man, but here in East Georgia, it has done nothing but rain for the past 2 weeks. And I know I put out that video earlier with the grass catcher, and man, I dug some ruts in my yard, just as slow as I was moving. Dug some ruts in my yard, and I was like, man, you gotta be kidding me. You know, my yard doesn't look the best anyway because of I had a lot of weeds before, and my yard is actually recovering. I have a busted pipe in my yard, so I have the water to my irrigation system turned completely off because it floods my yard out when I leave it turned on. And I turn it on for like 15 minutes a day just so my yard can get water in this extreme 100-degree Georgia heat, you know. But here recently, I haven't had it turned on at all. And the yards in my area, man, they're just saturated. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I haven't been able to do much mowing with my zero turn because of that. And now, don't get me wrong, I've got some yards that I just absolutely refuse to push mow because they're just too big. But I was like, man, you gotta be kidding me. I just dug up some of the turf in my yard trying to do a first impression video on the grass catcher. My wife wasn't too happy about it neither. We're trying to get our lawn to come back. I had so many weeds. We first bought this house, nobody took care of the lawn, and you know, we was trying to get everything taken care of, all of our priorities, get them in check. And I decided last year to go ahead and start on my lawn, so I put out some Celsius and Certainty to kill off all the weeds, and put out some pre-emergent to keep some of the Dallas grass and crabgrass from coming in, and some of the clover. But so I'm sure you saw those bare spots, and plus I've got 2 great big maple trees in my yard that just block the sunlight from getting to my lawn in a lot of places. So definitely got to prune them up this summer to get my yard looking back right, or to get it looking right to begin with. But so I've got a lot of bare spots in my yard, and then today I went out there and dug ruts up trying to do a video. And but it is what it is, you know. It's Bermuda lawn. It'll come right back. This time next week, you won't even be able to tell that I tore up the property. But and it's not really that bad. It's just one little spot down by the mailbox. But anyway, about that grass catcher, you know, after going back and watching that video, I realized that there was a lot of blowout from underneath the front of the deck. And you know, I couldn't really see that from on top of the mower, but watching that video, I could see it plain as day. And I talked to Randy at Countryside Lawns. I don't know if you guys follow him on YouTube or anything, but he puts out some very informative videos. And I actually pinned a video in the comments on that video with a grass catcher of a leaf bag that he made out of a tarp that you attach to a grass catcher. And I know some of you got your opinions on it, but look, I'm a firm believer that anything is going to work better than what my wife and I did this past year, man. We spent 8 hours in one yard, and that's not happening this year. I refuse to do that. But he was saying to use, you know, my mower, it has factory blades on it, and I went ahead and ordered some mulching blades. I call them gator blades. They're not gator blades. They're Ballard's Ripper blades. And what I had to do was they don't make a set for my mower yet, because my mower is so new. And Corey Ballard will tell you, you know, there's so many mowers coming out, so many deck sizes and things like that, that it's just hard for them to keep up with the different blade sizes and things of that nature. So what I had to wind up doing is buying a set for a 61-inch Spartan, and it's a set of 3. My mower only holds 2 blades, but it's a set of 3, and I figure next year, you know, I'll order another set, and I'll have 6 blades for that mower, or 3 sets of blades for that mower, and that way when I take them off to sharpen them, I can just throw a fresh set on, and if I ain't got time to sharpen them right then or whatever. But anyway, I noticed there was a lot of blowouts. I talked to Randy and asked him what blades he recommends, because he's actually the one who gave me the idea just by watching his video of the grass catcher with the tarp and everything. And he recommended a short tail high lift or a medium lift blade. So I think I'm gonna do that, and also buy, sorry guys, also my deck is actually higher than what I normally cut my grass on. I normally cut my grass around 2.25 inches. I think I had it on like 2.5, 3 inches or something like that. But there was a lot of space for the air just to push leaves and grass clippings out from the front of the deck, you know. So a lot of that stuff wasn't even making it into the grass catcher, and that's my fault there. I don't blame that on the equipment or the manufacturer or anything like that. But one thing I did notice, and I mentioned it in the video, was that I was going to put some burlap or something on the back door of that grass catcher to try to keep grass clippings and leaves from coming out the back door. But I think what I'm actually going to do, because I thought about it, if I put something inside that, stuff's going to start sticking to it, and I ain't going to be able to, it's not going to have that slick surface for it to just slide right out, you know. And I don't want to have anything in there that grass clippings or leaves or whatever can catch on to and just stay in. So I think what I'm going to do is just I'm going to try using duct tape on the outside of the grass catcher, and just cover up maybe half of the holes to try to make the holes smaller, and see what that does. And because I don't want to impede the airflow, because you've got to have airflow when you're trying to bag grass clippings and things like that. So I don't want to block any airflow, but at the same time, I've got to make those holes smaller than what they are. That way, the bagger will do its job. But anyway, overall, I was impressed with it. And you know, I told you everything I needed to tell you in that video. I'm gonna do a part 2 on it after I try the duct tape, and I'm gonna wait for my grass to dry out too. It stormed right after I made that video, and it's supposed to rain every single day this week. I know me and my boy, we're supposed to go fishing in the morning, and I don't know if it's gonna happen. If I wake up and it's pouring down raining, it's definitely not gonna happen. But I'm kind of bummed out about that, man. I hadn't been fishing all year, and you know, I spend so much time away from the house with work and this business that I'm trying to grow. I really want to spend some time with my son, man. But plus he's been after me about it too. So if it's raining in the morning when I wake up, I'm gonna feel real bad about it. But you know, it's one of those things. I'm not gonna be out there on the water with thunder and lightning popping all around us. It's just doesn't make sense, and it's dangerous, you know. So it is what it is on that. But anyway, I want to hop on here and holler at y'all, man. I picked up 2 more counts. One is actually I will start mowing in August, is a friend of my mom's has a house that her mom is living in, and she actually bought the property behind the house that her mom's living in. So she has two properties right there, and she wants me to mow both of them. I started on one this past Tuesday, and I'm gonna start on the other one in August. And so that's two accounts that I picked up, and I went and quoted another property. And this property, I ran into this one time before. This not this part. The property, it was a beautiful property. It's a new built or new construction house, and I mean, this thing's a freaking mansion. But these people obviously have money. But regardless of that, it was a beautiful property, and had fresh sod and all that good stuff put down. And she was actually wanting a quote for next year, and I told her, I said, it's just going to be a rough estimate. I said, I can give you a quote of what I'm going to charge you this year. I said, but next year's liable to change because of inflation. Gas goes up and down, and plus everything that we buy, anything from food to clothes to stuff that I use to work with. I mean, everything is going up, so it's subject to change next year, and most likely it will change. And she was like, okay, well, just give me what you would do if it was this year, and that would kind of give me a ballpark idea. So I said, all right, and I walked around the property, and it's probably a 1 acre lot, and but the catch to it is the front yard was huge, and the back side of it, probably about 50 yards from her back door, it went up a huge straight up embankment, and that entire embankment looks like it's been sprayed with bahia grass. Those I guess you call it spray seeding or broadcast. I don't know what they do. It's like they took a hose and just sprayed the seeds out there. But it's got grass sprouting on it, and I think it's bahia. But all that's got to be mowed, and you can't use a push mower. You can't use a zero turn on it. You'll flip over. So it's pretty much just gonna have to be done with a weed eater. And it's a pretty steep embankment, and it's probably about 8 feet wide. The area that you have to go by about 100 yards long. And then on top of that, it's all soft sand with just a bunch of wild grasses growing in it. But she wants all that maintained. And so I explained to her, it's time consuming. I charge by the hour. And she said, okay, well, just give me a price. And so I did. And I dropped the price on her. It'd probably take me an hour and a half to do it. So I gave her a conservative estimate. Told her it would be around $120 this year. And if I was to do it this year, the first mow would be $120. And that would give me an idea of how much time it would actually take. And I would probably lose money on the first cut, but I would know what to charge the next time. And man, she didn't even reply to me after that. I guess she thought $120 was just too much. And I ran into that problem before. There was a guy that wanted to clean up, but he also wanted a whole bunch of other stuff done. I mean, a whole bunch of other stuff. He basically wanted his whole yard re-landscaped. I mean, it was a jungle. And I pretty much told him, like, dude, if you're wanting all that done, and I gave him the price, and I put it all in a calculator, I gave him an exact estimate of what it would cost, or an exact quote of what it would cost, and for everything that would have been done. And it was a lot. And once again, never got a response. And everybody I talked to told me, said, man, I would actually charge more. And same with this past yard. Everybody I talked to said, man, I would have charged more. I think 120 is a little too conservative. But it is what it is. I shot myself in the foot when I first got into this, and I started throwing in bush trimming for free with the service, that I would do bush trimming once a month, and you wouldn't have to pay no extra for it. And I found out real quick that was a huge mistake, because I didn't think about what all goes into bushes as far as removing the waste and stuff like that, because I mean, if you've never done this kind of job before, you don't think about that kind of stuff. And now that I've been doing it since October or November, I've learned a lot. And I got a real good friend of mine. He's actually one of my mentors, and I talked to him yesterday, and he was actually in my neighborhood. I've got 5 or 6 properties in my neighborhood. I actually need my tail kicked. I need more, because there's like 300 houses in this neighborhood, and I really need to beat the streets and start beating doors down and telling these people, like, look, I am the landscaper in this neighborhood. You can call me. You ain't got to go outside. But anyway, he was in the neighborhood. There's a property actually 2 doors down across the street from my house, and it's actually a property management company that sent him out there. It's an investment group that owns his house, and he was getting. I pulled in. I didn't realize it was him until I actually saw the side of his truck, and it said Trips Lawn Care. It's a guy I went to school with, and I've been talking to him on Facebook. And I hadn't seen the guy in probably 3 years, and he looks completely different. He's got a big old 12-inch beard hanging off his face, and kind of made me jealous, man. I miss my beard. But anyway, I was talking to him, and he gave me his phone number, and he was like, man, I hadn't talked to you in a while. Holler at me whenever you and your wife get done. He was like, we're actually just finishing up now. We're fixing to go drop the guys off, and I'm headed to the house. I was like, all right, cool. And when I pulled out, I was headed to my last one, and when I pulled off, man, I just noticed the back of his trailer was slap full of big old beautiful nice equipment. And but I was talking to him, and he was like, man, he was like, don't look at my trailer and get discouraged. He said, I've been doing this 15 years, man. And he said, before I bought my nice mower, my first nice mower, I used a regular old school lawn tractor, an old school Craftsman 42-inch deck lawn tractor, and had to go around in a circle in the yards. He couldn't do the stripes, he just had to basically go around in circles, or a square, whatever you want to call it, because the turn radius wasn't tight enough. But he said, and I made it work for 2 years until I finally picked up enough customers where I could justify buying a zero turn. But he said, so don't get discouraged, man. He said, you keep doing a good job, you keep doing what you say you're going to do, and keep showing up, and don't let customers have to call you to come cut their grass. And he said, you'll make it. He said, there's too many people out here that people can't depend on that are making it. So if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll do just fine, if not better than most of these guys. He said, you'll actually wind up taking a lot of properties from these guys. And but he helped me out with pricing too. When I was talking to him yesterday, I told him, my minimum for my weekly yard, my minimum is $50 per cut, and for a bi-weekly yard is $60. And because around here, we have to, if you're doing a bi-weekly yard, man, you've got to double cut it, just because simple fact that the grass gets taller and thicker, and so much humidity down here, everything just clumps up. And I don't know if it's like that all over the country, but it's like that here. So yeah, you pretty much have to double cut everything on a bi-weekly yard. You don't have to do that with a weekly. And he told me, he was like, nah, dude. He was like, my minimum is $75. He said, now granted, I do throw the bushes in, but I don't do the bushes the same way you do. He tells his customers, he told me, he was like, I tell my customers up front that your bushes are not going to look like those smooth, manicured neighborhood entrance bushes. He said, this is you don't live on a country club. That's not the way it's going to be. He said, I'm just a guy out here cutting grass. He said, I will maintain your bushes. He said, but I'm not going to manicure them. I don't have time. He said, what I'll do is I'll spend 5 minutes just kind of doctoring them up a little bit, patching them up every time, instead of spending an hour or two once a month and putting all my other yards in jeopardy. And so he throws his bushes in, and he charges them $75. And he also told me, he said, now I do have some customers that they want their bushes trimmed once a month, but they expect it to be tip top. They want it to look good. They want them to be smooth. And so he's like, all right, but if I do that, I'm gonna drop a big boy price on you. And he tells them the price, and they're fine with it. So he kind of shed some light on some things, but he also told me this, and it makes a lot of sense. He said, if you think about it, because me and him was just talking about mowers. He's got a walker, he's got a right stander, he's got a Gravely Pro Stance, he's got a doggone Toro grandstand on there, he's got all kind of stuff on there. He had like 4 mowers on his trailer, and anywhere from a 42-inch deck to a 52, or I think he had one that was a 61. But and he had like 6 trimmers, and he had a hard edger, and he had 4 backpack blowers on there, and with all green touch racks, and I mean, it just decked out. You see this guy riding down the road, and you're like, man, that guy's got it going on. And he's got his signage on the side of his truck, and he's got 2 trucks, 2 trailers. He's got the whole 9 yards. He is a full-time lawn care provider, and he's been doing it for a while, and he is built up to this, and he's very successful. But he is very knowledgeable, and he is willing to share his knowledge with people that he cares about. But he told me, he said, look, you're sitting here worried about mowers and things like that, and he said, I'm gonna tell you something, man. He said, and that's when he told me about the mower he had starting out. He said, all I had starting out was a 21-inch Boland's push mower, didn't have a bag on it, and I had a 42-inch Craftsman lawn tractor. And he said, I had a trailer that I borrowed from a buddy that I wound up buying from him for like $150, and it didn't even have a gate on it. I had to put 2x4. He had to put 2x4s down on it to get the mower on and off. And he said for the first 2 weeks, he used a broom to sweep off sidewalks and driveways until he saved enough money to buy an electric blower that he had to plug into people's houses. And then like 2 or 3 months later, he bought a gas-powered handheld blower. But he said, so the mower you got, that 42-inch Spartan, is more than capable of getting the job done. He said, you got that, and he said, you've got a 21-inch bagging mower right there. He said, there's nothing wrong with the equipment you have. He said, I agree with everything you're doing. He said, but you need to stop worrying about mowers. He said, if you sit here and think about it, 90% of these zero-turn mowers are going the exact same speed. He said, yeah, you've got some decks that are bigger than others, and it does make a difference, but it's not that much of a difference. He said, what you need to think about is, if you're wanting to put money back into the business right now, which is actually what you need to be doing starting out, he said, if you're serious about wanting to sink everything back into your business, what you need to invest in is your handheld tools, like your blowers, your trimmers, your hedge trimmers, your edgers, things like that. He said, then before you go out and buy more mowers, you need to get a bigger trailer, because you've got that zero turn on there and you've got that push mower on there. And he said, if you think about it, behind that zero turn mower, you barely have enough room for your push mower. He said, you go get you a right stander or a walk behind, you're not going to have room for both mowers, especially if you plan on keeping that push mower on there. He said, so what you need to do after you invest in some handheld equipment, you need to invest in a longer trailer. He said a 10-foot trailer is plenty big enough for you to start out with. He said, but you need at least a 12-footer, especially if you're going to run 2 mowers. And he said, you need to stop worrying about mowers and start worrying about handhelds. He said, because your handheld equipment is actually what's going to make you faster. He said, you need to have a backup for every piece of equipment you have. I got to thinking about it, and I was like, wow. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I only have 2 string trimmers. One of them's an Echo, one of them's a Steel, and I love both of them. My favorite one is the Steel because it's got more power than that Echo, and plus, you know, that thing, it just runs like a scalded dog, man. I mean, you crank it up the very first time you pull that string, it takes off. And you better be holding on to it. But I also like it a little more too, because I just put that new speed feed head on there, and it's a newer head, so it ejects the string a little bit easier than the older one does, because the older ones, you know, it's about 5 or 6 years old and it's worn out. But anyway, my wife and I, we have a ditch that's about 300 yards long and about 5 feet wide, and it's a once a month deal, but it pays $125, and that's the equivalent of the minimum charge of a bi-weekly yard for 1 month. So I took it on, and it don't take but about 30 minutes to do, with both of us doing it. Well, we got over there Friday morning, and my steel trimmer would not crank up, and it still won't crank up. I could not figure out what's wrong with it, and I was telling him about that, and he said, that's a prime example. He said, you need to start investing in trimmers. He said, stop thinking about your mowers. He said, because think about this. Yes, those mowers are a lot more expensive. 9 times out of 10, you're going to pay at least $6,000 for a good zero turn or a stand-on mower. He said, even a good commercial push mower, you're going to pay at least $1,000 for. He said, so you really need to start investing your money in some trimmers. He said, because push come to shove, if that zero turn goes out in the middle of you cutting a yard, you can finish it out with that push mower. He said, and if your push mower don't crank up, he said, you can always just weed eat the rest of the yard the best you can. Let your customers that you have left on your list know what happened. Plan on getting out there the next day. You can go to your dealership and finance a new mower. He said, you can't finance handhelds. He said, so you need to start sinking your money into handhelds. I got to thinking about it. I was like, man, this guy's pretty smart. But you know, it just made me kind of rethink some things, you know. But he did tell me, you know, you're gonna lose customers, and I actually lost a customer this week. It was nothing that I did or anything like that. It's just her son-in-law and her daughter. They have 3 kids just like I do, and evidently they're a young family, and wasn't making a whole lot of money to begin with, but the inflation is just killing them, and they can't afford to do anything, and they can barely afford to eat, and so it's getting to the point where it's almost to where he can't afford to go to work anymore. So she called me up the other day, and she was like, look, I hate to tell you this, but I'm gonna drop you temporarily. She told me the situation. She said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let him maintain my yard, and he said, I'm gonna pay him more than what I was paying you, because, you know, he's taking care of my daughter and my grandkids, and they gotta eat. And she said, I want to give him a chance to keep his dignity. And I said, that's fine, I understand that. And so I lost that account temporarily, but I did pick up 2 more in place of it. And you know, he explained to me, you know, you're gonna lose accounts. He said, you're gonna gain accounts and you're gonna lose them. He said, just when you lose them, you know, just be as nice as you can in the situation, and, you know, be understanding. He said, because you never know what's happening on the other side of that door. There might be something that they're not telling you, that, and it may just be a point to where they may have lost their job, or they may be going through some stuff with medical conditions or something. So he said, always be prepared to get them back when the day comes, and set yourself up to be able to do so. And don't burn those bridges. But when you do lose customers, get out there and pick up some more. He said there's plenty of grass out here to cut. But that's the reason I wanted to get on here, and I wanted to share the information he shared with me. You know, it was very enlightening to hear him, and very sobering to hear a lot of the things he said. But you know, he's right, and everything he said made sense. But and I didn't want to just keep that information to myself. You know, I felt like that was some pretty valuable information, because I know there's some people that watch these videos that I put out that are in the same position that I am. You know, just starting out. You know, some of you may be worse off than me. You know, I'm not an established lawn care provider, but I do have another full-time job where I'm supporting my family, and I make good money doing that. And so I'm not necessarily doing this for the money. I'm doing this to have freedom. And I'm trying to get out from working for another man. You know, if you've watched my introduction video, my very first video on this channel, you would know that. But so some of you young guys out there that this is all you have, and you're trying to get something going for yourself and make good money doing it, man, just take the information that I just gave you. This is not the information that I'm giving you. This is information that a guy that I'm real good friends with gave me, and he's actually been doing this for 15 years, and he has become very successful doing it. And this guy's making between $300,000 and $400,000 a year doing this. So if you don't take it from me, take it from him. But anyway, just figured I'd get on here and talk to y'all for a minute. I ain't seen none of y'all in a while, other than that video I put out today. I know I talked to my wife. It's supposed to rain all day this week, and all week this week it's supposed to rain, and it's supposed to rain Friday. And you know, I don't have any yards lined up for this week. We're actually caught up now, but you know, my list starts over Friday, and I know it's 7 days out, but they are calling for a 59% chance of rain Friday. And I don't know about where y'all live, man, but I'm sick and tired of the rain. I really am. And I know a lot of y'all are struggling with droughts right now, but I'm here to tell you, y'all can have some of our rain if you want it. I'm just sick of it. But I talked to her, and the last property we do Friday, it's one of our weekly accounts. It's a pretty quick account, you know. It's pretty much just a cookie cutter yard, and she spends about 20 minutes weed eating and edging, and I zero turn the whole thing. And so I told her what I'm gonna do is neighbors that lived across the street from me just got in his truck and turned his headlights on and scared the crap out of me. I thought there was somebody behind my truck with a flashlight. But anyway, I'm sure y'all probably hear his straight pipes. He just crunk his truck up. He don't have no exhaust. He's a good guy, man. I like him a lot. Young boy, still in college. But anyway, we were talking, and I told her, I said, what I want to do is because I still don't have a tripod, and I don't have the GoPro app on my phone, and for two, I can't figure out what's wrong with my GoPro. It won't stay charged up more than about 5 minutes, and it dies on me. But probably just going to have to get a new one. Really don't want to, though. But anyway, I told her that I was just going to help her get everything edged and weed eated, and I was going to knock the front yard out, and then I was going to give her my phone, and I want her to record me mowing the backyard. And because I don't think I have any footage at all on this channel of me actually doing anything, showing you how I do things. So I do want to try to get a little bit of footage before this season's over. We're already halfway through it. You know, it's what is it? It's Monday was the 4th. It's Saturday evening. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Today is the 9th, and July the 9th. So we're halfway through it, and we're actually on the downhill side. You know, we just come out of a drought. It's been pouring down rain for the past 2 years or 2 weeks, but we just came out of the drought where all of these yards were just crispy, you know, and I'm sure it's not over. We hadn't even got into the dog days yet. But season's half over. I figured I do want to get a little bit of footage for you guys. So that's the way we're going to do it until I can afford to get a tripod, or till I get time to go buy one, or either get a GoPro 1. But anyway, I have talked and rambled on long enough. I'm fixing to go in here. I'm going to go grab me a beer, sit down, watch a little bit of TV, relax, and go to bed and hope for the best that it's not raining in the mornings, because I really want to take my boy fishing. But anyway, I'll be back on here sooner or later. And until then, y'all keep mowing that grass and keep making that money. Holla at y'all. Bye.